Hello and welcome to Focus Magazine. Today we, the international students of FH Wiener University of Applied Sciences for Management and Communication, will be discussing moving to and living in Vienna. The first topic we will cover is culture shock. In today's world, where remote work, cross-country exchange programs, or just travel in general have become familiar practices, discussing culture shock is extremely important. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, culture shock is defined as a sense of confusion and uncertainty, with feelings of anxiety that may affect people exposed to an unfamiliar culture or environment. Our main focus this time, however, is the experience of students on exchange programs, specifically in Vienna.
This is Josme Sanchez. She came to Vienna from Barcelona, Spain for an exchange program at FH Vienna to study communication and management. At first, she says, when she came here, she was really shy because she didn't know what to expect from Erasmus exchange. She had heard of other students' experiences and knew that it would be up to her to make it work.
It's like I don't have a place, for me Vienna, I need to explore it more, and parts are good, but like it doesn't make me feel like at home. I will say I need the people, like if I'm with my friends here, that makes me feel at home and in a safe place for say something. It's not the place, it's the people you're going with. So depending on the people, you make the place good or bad. So for me, it's the people I'm with.
This is Mariam Utalishvili, who came to Vienna from Tbilisi, Georgia. On her exchange program, she studies journalism. Mariam had quite a tough time for the first weeks while transitioning to the Vienna lifestyle.
I definitely was anxious for like the first 1 or 2 weeks, I would say. I would randomly get emotional and start crying just because I realized I would miss everyone and anything that I had ever seen or talked with. I was feeling a little sentimental. I think it's hard to feel at home in Vienna just because nothing really reminds me of Tbilisi, but when I feel that I need a little comfort or calming down, I usually go, I have like 2 or 3 parks that I've become familiar with and are my favorites.
For Josme, one of the main cultural differences is the way people interact here in casual conversations. In Spain, there's more familiarity and it's more friendly. Even when ordering a meal at a restaurant, waiter starts up a conversation, offering their recommendations for what someone should order. But here in Vienna, it is more rigid, strict and colder, she says.
Normally we are so loud. I think Spanish people and Latin American people were so loud when we talk. And in the metro, for example, we notice that there people do not talk, or if they talk, like they talk so like slowly or like quietly. But the only thing that we talk about, it was like this cultural shock that we had, because like we felt that we were so loud, and we were like, okay, let's try to shut up a little bit to make the people feel comfortable.
For Mariam, another important change was the aesthetic of the city she now lives in.
Actually, another thing that kind of struck me and was insane to me at the beginning when I arrived here was the view from my window, from my room, because coming from a post-Soviet country, as a person, you're not really used to seeing such artistic expressions on a building, because in Tbilisi, we usually have just like this old Soviet buildings that are gray and kind of lifeless, and that was definitely positively good thing to be looking at from my window. Yeah, I would say it has been hard and not necessarily very easy to make a connection with people who you do not have much in common with, so it's really productive for you to talk about it with your friends.
When you move abroad, one of the first questions that comes to mind is, where to live in the new city? Am I choosing a dorm room, a shared flat, or do I want to live alone? And also in Vienna, the search for apartments isn't that easy. My colleague Alice Schwetzel did research on this topic, and we will find out answers, why it isn't that easy anymore, and how you can still find an apartment.
Helene Löcken is from Münster in Germany and moved abroad to Vienna. She began studying in journalism and media management and started looking for an apartment 3 months before moving. She mostly searched on platforms like WG gesucht, Willhaben, and also tried to find an apartment through contacts from friends and family. Other popular websites for searching apartments are also ImmoScout24 or ImmoWelt. Nevertheless, it took her a long time to find an apartment. She says it can be frustrating sometimes.
I've probably written to about 40 flat shares, and then you get a reply from, I don't know, maybe 10 of them, and then about 5 or so invite you over.
5 oder so eingeladen.
It can also be tough if you don't already live close to Vienna when you're looking for an apartment, because most people prefer to view apartments and shared flats in person. Vienna has a lot of social housing, which is state subsidized, but newcomers don't get a chance to live in these apartments. That's why it's more difficult and also more expensive to find an apartment as a newcomer, says for example Wolfgang Amann. He is an expert at the Institute for Real Estate, Construction and Housing and says newcomers can pay around 20 euros per square meter, whereas in the Stag people pay around 9 or 10 euros per square meter. However, he says there's a lot of pressure on the market because of the rising population.
When I came to Vienna in the 1990s, Vienna had 1.5 million inhabitants. Today it has 2.2 million inhabitants. So Vienna has grown rapidly and it has gained attractiveness massively. So 30 years ago it was a grey city. Today it is a lively and colorful city. It has become much more beautiful than it was before.
But there are not enough apartments for everyone in Vienna. Vienna has one of the most dynamic and dense housing markets in Austria. One of the reasons, as mentioned, is the population growth, but also high construction costs and the decreasing number of completed housing projects are also factors. This is why renting is becoming increasingly expensive. But in European comparison, Vienna is still average in terms of rental costs. And Vienna has already taken action in form of the rent cap, and new neighborhoods are emerging, for example in Seestadt Erstbahn or Nordbahnhof. They are also trying to find solutions for unused buildings and discussing rules against renting out apartments on Airbnb. However, it is still tough, especially for young people, says expert Amann.
For students it was quite affordable a couple of decades ago to live here. This has changed rapidly. So there is supply in an affordable range, but you have to engage and search and inform yourself. Then it will be possible to have as a student and a young person access to affordable housing.
And also Helene's search was worth it.
Dann hat es am Ende aber doch geklappt.
In the end, it all worked out. I actually got accepted into the flat share I wanted, so yeah, I guess I was a little bit lucky too.
Schon, glaube ich, ein bisschen Glück auch.
Vienna is by far not the easiest city to find an apartment, and it requires a great deal of organization to find something. But it is worth the effort in the end because of the beautiful views and the atmosphere of the city.
At the University of Applied Sciences of Vienna, every student has the opportunity to spend a semester abroad. Preparing for that can be very challenging. What are the essential things to keep in mind? A report by Stefan Westermeier provides insight.
Leonie will spend a semester abroad.
I want to go to Paris, or I'm going to Paris because I've already been accepted to the university.
For her, it's a dream come true.
I think it's like every little girl's dream to like study in Paris at least once. I don't know, I've also watched Emily in Paris. It's like the Netflix show. And since then it's like, I don't know, like the dream vision of me living in Paris.
However, studying abroad is expensive and financing is not easy.
I'm currently saving up some money. I'm working a lot to like save up some money like in advance. And I've also already saved up some money and also plan on working there. But I don't really know like how to manage it because it's like a full-time university there.
Perhaps Hannah can help her. She already spent a semester abroad in Spain.
Yeah, so mainly I financed my housing through Erasmus money. So the Erasmus budget I got was basically the rent I paid.
Hannah financed part of her semester abroad with the help of the Erasmus program. It is the EU's main funding program for general education.
All of the other expenses like groceries, or I traveled a few times, I just used my money I just had saved up from working before.
One topic in particular was very prominent during the preparation.
I think the most stress I had was finding housing. At first I thought I'm going to do it on my own and just researched flat on like different websites that offers flats, but that's a bit difficult if you only like stay for a semester. And then by some coincidence, or like I tried to find information from the university if they have like a service or anything they can provide me with help. And they actually had a service where you write an email and fill out a few questions, and then they partner you with students from the university who also do a semester abroad. And so I ended up with 2 girls from my university in a flat that is near the university. And so it worked out really well, but to find this service initially, it was a bit of a struggle, and I don't know if like every university has that. If you're going to live abroad, I mean, the most important thing is having housing. You can't just go to a place and have nowhere to live. So I would have a lot less stress if I just looked into it more.
Leonie is also having trouble finding accommodations in Paris.
The living situation is like the most problematic thing. Right now, I just kind of like laid my looking for an apartment on ice because it like stressed me so much.
After filming, I connected Leonie and Hannah. Because in addition to finding accommodation and learning the local language, it is also important to talk to people who have already completed a semester abroad.
Hey, you went there, how was it? How did you do with the housing? Anything else I have to like look into before? I would have given me a lot less stress and also less to organize.
Despite all the planning stress, Hannah recommends a semester abroad.
I think it builds so much character. It brings you out of your comfort zone. You just go to a country where you know no one and just like learn so much about yourself and learn to be such an independent person. So I would recommend it to everyone to do it. Even if it's scary, and I was so scared the night before I left. And sad to leave everyone behind, but I think it's just a semester. You will get through it and just like do it.
This has been our honest review of all the ups and downs of navigating living in Vienna as an exchange student. We hope this was helpful. We wish you a great semester, and until next time on Focus Magazine.